Hello, guys. I'm still in Missouri. I'll be back in Wisconsin in about a week and a half or so. But I want to talk about certain ice fishing ponds that I would actually like to fish. Yes, I know most people fish on Mendota, Monona, Wingra, Wabisa, Kaganza, and I always see a bunch of tents in those places. But these ponds I've actually driven past multiple times in the winter. I've never seen anyone at any of these ponds. Now, most of the times if you're going to be fishing at these ponds, you're going to be doing catch and release. And I know a lot of people just fish for like dinner, ice fishing, so it's a little bit different. But if you're interested in just catching a couple of gills for fun, a couple of bullheads, some carp, some bass, these are ponds that you might want to check out. I actually haven't ice fished any of these ponds. I fished one of them, didn't really get any result, but I know through fishing at these places in the summer that there are good fish here, and a pond is a much smaller body of water. So I think it's easier to find the fish, especially if you have some kind of fish radar, which I don't have, but these ponds are like an acre, a couple acres big, so you can kind of guess where the fish are. So let's actually go to the map and see where they could actually be. So first, I actually don't know if there's people that ice fish at Lakeview. There might be. Obviously, there's bass, and there's bluegills in here. And I've never even ever fished at this pond over here, but it's also public property. So let me know, like, if any of you have actually fished there in the winter or the summer. I would really like to know what's in this pond. But anyways, Lakeview is one that you should. I think it's actually pretty deep in the middle, so I know it does not freeze down all the way. There's a ton of bluegill in there. And of course, there's going to be like some bass in there too. I don't know if you'll be able to catch the bass, but they're in there. And I've seen it. I've seen some goldfish in there as well. Speaking of goldies, if you actually go to like the Middleton, this area, Frank Lloyd Drive, you see this pond in the middle, but there's also this pond surrounding it. Now, this is like weird, but if you want to catch goldfish in the winter, this might actually be where you want to go. If you need something else for the tank or whatever, this might be where you want to go. Because I know in this little pool surrounding this main pond, I've caught a ton of goldfish here. A ton of goldfish here. So it might be something new. You might need to find the deep spots in this like surrounding pond. I believe it's like 3 feet deep at the deepest, or like it's pretty much 3 feet deep all the way around. And I don't think it freezes all the way down. So I definitely think like you'll be able to catch some goldfish here. And that might be just like a really interesting experience for ice fishing, because I don't really know if anyone catches goldfish through the ice. What you do with a goldfish, not really sure. You're not really supposed to let them go, but don't like just killing stuff on the ice. So that's kind of like your problem if you catch them. But yeah, this pond here, definitely goldfish in there. The other pond I really want to talk about, there's several other ponds I actually want to talk about. One is like up here, and not Governor Nelson's, but there's like this park here around Century Avenue. Yeah, Orchid Heights Park. Now, I think this pond over here on Orchid Heights is easier to get to. This pond you can fish as well. I think they're about 4 feet deep. I've actually drilled holes in this, and from experience, I know there's bass. I know there's bass. I know there's bluegills. The bluegills aren't very big, and I know there's carp in here. Now, this pond is probably only like 2 acres, maybe I would say, and it's very easy to get onto. There's usually some kids playing ice hockey here. But you can drill a couple of holes, and if we lose a kid, then, too bad. No, I'm just kidding. They actually have like a little kind of like if they do play hockey, they have like a little fenced off place where they play hockey. You can just drill holes outside of it. And I know there's carp in here. I haven't found where exactly they are, but I think you can probably catch some fish here. It's only such a small body of water, and there's a lot of fish in here. Same thing for this other pond. This actually might be easier because there's no one playing hockey on here. And you can just drill and see if you can get any carp or bluegills here. And there's bass in here as well, because I've caught bass in both ponds. So Orchid Heights Park. That's actually one I really want to fish. The ponds over at Elver, those aren't actually Elver Park. Those ponds don't really have anything besides bullheads and bluegills, so maybe not all that interesting, but could be a way to get a start for kids that really want to basically ice fish. Moving on to Wanakee. Now, I don't exactly know where Wanakee actually is in this map. I think it's like up here somewhere. Yeah, Wanakee has 2 ponds that I'd actually be interested in fishing. They're both by parks, like the Town Center Park, which I think Village Center Pond I know has crappie, it has bluegills, and it has bass, because I've caught all three here. It's a fairly big pond. It should freeze over pretty well. That might be something that you want to look at. There's another park here with a pond that you can actually fish. It's not really along the creek. I don't exactly know where this pond is in Wanakee. But there's another pond here that I actually did a video at in the summer in Wanakee. And basically, that pond's much smaller. It has bluegills and a ton of smaller bass. So if you want to, it's I believe it's Meadowbrook Park. Yeah, it's Meadowbrook Park. It's this pond here. It's much smaller, so it's much less area to actually like search. But there is a ton of small bass in here. I think the biggest bass I've caught on in here is like maybe like 1.25 pounds. So they're not very big, but it might be fun for like some kids. And I don't think this pond's very deep, so in the case that you do fall in, it's probably not that bad. Don't take my word on that. I've fished there in the summer. I don't think it's super deep. Also, rumors are there is a big catfish in there somewhere. Someone put one in there a long time ago, and it's still in there. But I cannot confirm or deny that because I've never actually caught it. So Wanakee, this pond is actually really, really interesting. Tiedeman's Pond, I don't think there's anything in there. I've tried fishing it multiple times. I've never caught one single thing in there. Used to be some big bass in there, but I think they're dead. The other thing is the Costco Pond. Yes, I actually call it the Costco Pond. And that's kind of like over here by the Costco in Greenway Station. And the Costco Pond, I've actually done quite a few videos at. Here it is. It's called Confluence Pond. And yeah, I've fished it a lot in the summer. Bass and bluegill are plentiful in that pond. I've never caught anything else in that pond. There have been stories of a pike in here, but I've never seen it myself. But yeah, like there's a lot of good bluegills in here and some good bass in here as well. And I've caught both in this Costco pond. So that's one I really, really want to ice fish as well. Another pond I want to mention is Orlando Bell Park. I've actually done like 1 or 2 videos here in the summer. This pond has crappie, bluegill, bass, and carp. There's quite a few carp in here. You would have to find them. And I'm actually very interested to actually fish this pond to see if I can get anything. Because I think like there can be a really good fight here, especially with the carp. So like, a lot of these ponds, and those are just all the ponds I'm going to mention today. There are others I do actually want to check out around here. But all these ponds, like I don't really see anyone ever fishing them. Like all the pressure is gathered on the main lakes, especially Monona Bay. So relieving some of that pressure on Monona Bay would actually be pretty good because that's literally where everyone goes. There's also a couple of ponds like around Door Creek, the Door Creek Park, and a couple of ponds in Cottage Grove that you can go to as well. And I think it's actually probably easier to catch fish in these ponds than like Monona Bay because it's a much smaller body of water and it's easier to find them, especially if you have a fish radar. So let me know if you fished any of those ponds before and if you've actually gotten anything out of them, like basically ice fishing. I think the only ones where I've seen people actually get something out of is actually the Costco pond, and they were just fishing for bluegills. But there's a lot of good fish to actually fish for in those ponds, and I'll definitely be trying them out to see where those where they stand in terms of fishing. So I think it'll be interesting. Of course, I'll be fishing on the main chain as well for ice fishing, but let me know if you're actually interested in actually fishing one of these ponds. If you have like if you have some kind of fish radar, that's even better, because I'm just going to be like randomly like drilling holes in some of these places and hoping I get lucky. The ponds aren't very big, so I can definitely get lucky. So let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.